I think the best way to introduce yourself is allow them to come over. Allow them to kind of close that space and build that curiosity. Incrementally just kind of becoming a part of their world and sharing space with them. Prove to him by just being around, I'm not going to be a problem. And then over time, show him, hey, I can actually, step in and just like another herd mate would do and start moving you around a little. And that's okay.
Not a great way to start a day, huh?
Yeah.
And right now, my goal is not to use strength to get him to listen.
You're allowed to go. That was the first time you let me kind of
That's a win.
slow him.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to try to back him up.
There's always excitement when you go meet a young horse like this. And there's even more when you've already committed to him and you've never seen him. My old friend Ida raises beautiful little colt. Ida's been in the horse world for so many years. When she says it's a good colt, I trust her. And he kind of reminded me of Hal a little bit. I've made a big commitment because I've said I'll take him, and I've also asked her not to touch him.
This is my unique chance here.
Absolutely, because he's raw. Like, we left him, you sounded like...
No, I'm glad you guys left him. Just did the right amount. He's not like a little deer, but he still just really feels good. I take a big sigh there. He just kind of accepted me there.
Yeah.
Really the goal that day was get to touch him, and then didn't know how far it would go if I'd have to come back.
Little right, little left. Kind of flow with the go a little bit.
That's pretty easy, isn't it?
Getting there. I don't have it on his right side yet, but it's coming. It's starting to follow a feel.
My goal was to get the halter on, teach him to follow a feel around a little bit, lead a little bit, and then I realized I needed to get him trimmed. I really felt the urgency to get it done, but get it done slowly and without having him feel trapped.
He's been doing it his whole life. So, 3 down. The only one sucking is me.
It was a bit challenging because there was no real appropriate size pen, so I ended up in this little box stall thing. Normally I wouldn't be in a small space like that, and just because you're in a small space doesn't mean you trap the horse, but you can just touch him and guide him. Thankfully the mare was so good, she's just like, get in here and do something with him. He needs something done with him.
Well, buddy, I think you're done.
So she was quite receptive, which isn't always the case.
What a day. What a future we're going to have, eh? Thank you, Mama. You're the reason this could happen today like this. Aren't you? Just a lovely mare. Well, you guys, thank you so much for leaving him for me.
Well,
And
that's
raising such a nice colt.
Kinda eluded on the phone.
I did. And I think if we just leave him now and
Okay.
I get him in a month and I get to see where he picks up and
I can't believe you trimmed his feet.
we got his feet trimmed.
Yeah.
No sweat.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you do these things just off a friend's recommendation or just off of a picture, you really don't know. But it was a great stallion, a wonderful mare, and Ida just had such a enthusiasm for her colt.
Oh, Ida. How exciting. Just those little colts, they're cool. They just So today was kind of a fun day. Well, not kind of, a majorly fun day. To meet my little guy. Even if he was home, I'd probably leave him for a month. I wouldn't want to interfere too much. My goal with him, because he has no history, is to have him become just a superstar, and he never even really knew how much he learned along the way, because it's never like we really locked horns. So a great session, highlight of my year.
It's time for them to separate, and this is the weaning. It can be quite traumatic. But this mare seemed to raise this colt so confidently. She was really comfortable to let him go, almost as if she had known she'd done her job.
First time without Mom. Wonderful trailer ride here.
It was time for him to go from Alberta to BC, make a big trailer ride.
Good looking Colt. She's not here anymore, buddy.
But certainly it's got to be weird. He's never been, in a moving vehicle before, rumbling down the road with all the noises and the semi-trucks going by and so forth. So that's a big deal for him, and he has to have somebody that he can move in with a bit. Quincy was the best pick for AJ. He's an older, quiet guy, really easygoing. And Quincy didn't want to be a babysitter, but he ended up being AJ's buddy.
Well, guys, about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning here in Cochrane. Time for some full loading because he's not got the halter on him yet to lead. We get to herd him in. So we'll see how this goes.
That early morning, I'm at the box stall thinking, I've got to reload this horse in the trailer. And now we've got about a 10-hour drive ahead of us. And he's only been haltered that one time, a little bit. That's not good enough to lead him into the trailer. He's not prepared to lead and really follow that feel. So I've got to take the time that morning to set the trailer up, get everything sorted where he can just find his way in, and then get him back home where I can actually teach him more with the halter to follow a feel off of his head down to his feet.
Gotta let him think about it a little bit. Gotta get in there with your buddy Quincy. As long as he's looking in.
The trailer ride is a risky thing, especially if the horse in there gets worried. And that's why Quincy's so good, because he's dead quiet. So being able to turn and touch Quincy and, nice, comfortable trailer, safe. And if he can turn around and move around and that offers him probably the best ride he can have, almost like a box stall.
But gotta give him time. Yeah, he's annoying. He's in.
He did absolutely wonderful on the way home. And AJ can be introduced to the herd through Quincy. And there's a long ways to go between, a weaned foal to a riding horse. It seems like they can go out of their way to try to hurt themselves, but it's exciting, and there's also a high degree of awareness. Like, we've got to do everything we can here not to have this colt end up in trouble.